Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about book to movie adaptations that are actually good. So as we know, people make adaptations of some of our favourite books, and I mean, they become just absolute train wrecks really, don't they? I mean, we've all seen the Shadowhunters TV show. We know what can happen. But I wanted to talk about some book to movie adaptations which I think are actually really good and did the books justice and actually kind of gave the readers of the books something. You can't bring everything to life because books are so much longer than movies. They take you longer to read, they take you longer to write than movies ever do. But I do appreciate it when the maker of the movies can see what's important in the novel and is able to bring that across successfully, and that's what I feel like was in these books. So I'd like to discuss them with you. Obviously this is just my opinion. I think these are really good adaptations. Other people might absolutely hate them, and that's okay. So first of all, I'd like to talk about the Percy Jackson movies, because I think that Percy Jackson movies are such a good adaptation and really bring to light and capture what the I can't even do it with a straight face into the actual ones. So the first one that I want to talk about is To All the Boys I Loved Before by Jenny Han. This book is a book which was recently adapted for Netflix, and it's about a girl called Lara Jean, all the boys that she's ever had crushes on and have ever loved, and somehow those letters get sent out and it all goes down from there. The adaptation was a little bit different. There were things that kind of were changed, but overall I do think it was a really good adaptation. It was really nice and cute and fluffy, and it gave the exact same vibes that the book gives, and it has the core of the story, the core themes and feelings that this book gives you, the movie also gave you, and it kept those characters who they were, and it kept kind of like key bits and key scenes, and it was just really good, and I really loved it. It's an adaptation which I would recommend and say the film's really good, the book's really good, watch it, read it, do both. Like, I definitely think it's something which was good and did do the book justice. Secondly, we have Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli, which this year was adapted into a movie called Love, Simon. And this is about 16-year-old Simon who is gay but isn't out yet, and while he is on the school's Tumblr page, he finds a guy who has come out on there anonymously, but he has left an email, so Simon contacts him via the email and they strike up a little friendship thing going on, but they don't know who the other one is, so they go under the aliases of Blue and Jacques. Everything unfolds from there, and it is that story. The film is very different actually, and I don't usually like it when they make it so different, but I think because they did make it so different, it works as its own thing, and it was a good adaptation, and they were able to kind of still have that story and still make it a really good story. It wasn't something where they missed out really like fine details that kind of ruined things, or they changed it so drastically. It was their own take on this story, and I think that's why I liked it so much, and again, it's definitely something that I would say watch the film of it. I would always recommend reading the book first, but I say like read the book, watch the film. It's not one that I would be like, don't go near it, don't touch it, because I think the film was really good and they did a really good job with it. Then next we have the entire Hunger Games trilogy really, but in particular Catching Fire. This book is fantastic, the whole series is fantastic, but the Catching Fire movie is amazing. I remember seeing that in the cinema for the first time and feeling overwhelmed at how good it was, the piece of cinema that it was, and the things that they captured, the things from the books that they included, the story that they told. It felt like someone had placed me in the book watching the whole series, but specifically Catching Fire. The detail in that film was fantastic. The way they brought this story to life was fantastic, and I absolutely love it. I maintain to this day that The Hunger Games is one of the best adapted movies. They brought Panem and all of it to life, and I absolutely love it. Next up we have Harry Potter movie. I mean, I have 50 copies of the Harry Potter books, I just couldn't be bothered to get any out. The Harry Potter series, and this isn't because it is absolutely perfect adaptation, but I do think that they are good adaptations. I think that those key points of the stories they do bring to life, and while they do miss out other things, their essence of Hogwarts and being back in Hogwarts and having that experience with Harry and his friends is there and is still captured there and is still something which comes across so well on screen, whether or not you're experiencing it via the big screen or you are reading it in the books. That feeling of home, that feeling of friendship, it is still there, and I think that's why the movies are loved so much as well, because it does still have all of those elements to it. We won't talk about Half-Blood Prince, but all the other ones, yay! Still bitter about Ginny Weasley and how her character was murdered. in those movies. But other than that, they did a good job. Next up we have Paper Towns by John Green. I personally actually preferred the movie to the book. I think that's the only time I can ever say that. I really loved this movie. The book, I didn't really like the ending, and I was like, why would that happen? Like, this is just ridiculous. Like, this is not happening at all. It's about a guy called Quentin. He's like spent most of his life, he knows Margot, and he's kind of been admiring her from afar, and then she kind of goes missing, has run away, and kind of he starts seeing clues that will lead him to her, so he goes on a search for her. The ending of this annoyed me. Like, I remember reading it and being like, why? Like, why? I hate it. The film, I actually think, explored it a bit more and kind of went into her character a bit more and brought who she is and why she does the things she does to light a little bit more. So I feel as though the adaptation of this actually gave more detail and explored her story in much more detail and her character in more detail, and that's why I liked it so much, because I think they did a really good job with that, and it made me like the story more than it did when I read the book. Next up we have Coraline by Neil Gaiman. This book is absolutely brilliant and I love the adaptation as well. The adaptation is an animation, but it's done really well. It's really creepy, it has those creepy vibes to it. Again, the vibes that the books gives, it brings to the screen, and it was something that I watched when I was a kid and it actually really creeps me out. Coraline is about a girl called Coraline who moves into a new house and she's really bored, nothing's really set up yet, they need to kind of sort everything out. Her parents are really busy kind of with the move, so they don't have much time for her, and she ends up going through this door to this different place where there's another mother, and it's a bit creepy. But I thought the movie was done really well and I really liked it. Again, these movies are not perfect adaptations, but I feel like they were still really good films to watch and did not kind of make me be like, I absolutely hate this, because they didn't bring what the book brings. They still had those themes there. Next we have Dumpling by Julie Murphy. This is another book which has recently gone onto Netflix, and I watched it the other day. It literally came out on Friday, I think, and it was so good. It was such a good adaptation. It was such a good movie. It made me laugh, it made me cry. I felt like all the important elements of the book were in the movie, and I just felt like they did such a good job with it, and it's so good. I've literally heard no one say anything but like good things about the adaptation, and I knew I had to watch it the day it came out, and it was so good. I felt like it was such a good movie that brought so many good aspects of that book to life. And finally we have Crazy Rich Asians by Kevin Kwan. This is a book which I saw earlier this year when it came out in the cinema, and again I just absolutely loved it. The book is really good. I actually hadn't heard about the book until this year when the movie was announced to be coming out, and I thought it was so good. Again, the movie really made me laugh, it made me smile, it made me cry a bit, and I felt like the aspects of the book, they were able to bring that over and kind of still have those characters and that story and to bring that to life, which I absolutely loved, and it's definitely something I would recommend. So yeah, like I said, I'm well aware that people have to make changes and that things aren't always going to be exactly the same. So I don't ever go into adaptations expecting it to be 100% the same. But I do go into it expecting kind of those core things that the book gave me, those core feelings, those core kind of themes to still be present, and they did do that. Even in the case of Love, Simon, where it was very different, they still were able to do that and bring those main messages across and bring those themes across and kind of have those characters still tell that story. And that's what I loved about all of these adaptations, is that they had that exploration, they had those characters, they had that story, and those were the things that weren't held back on, regardless of what they did to kind of make that story come to life on the big screen. And that's what I really like about these adaptations. I'd love to know some of your favourite book to movie adaptations, the ones you've actually really enjoyed and thought they did a really good job with. I would love to know what those were down below. Thank you guys for watching. If you are new here, then I make videos a couple of times a week about books and other fandomy things, so if you would like to stick around and join us, then you can do that. I hope you guys are doing really well, and I will see you next time. Bye!